Hey guys, it's Ramon from Bold Like a Leopard again. Sorry about the headphones. I'm preparing to go on a Skype call later, but I'm also uninstalling some programs, and I'm going to talk to you right now about the Vidcon thing, which is breaking out across YouTube. I'm not as active in the YouTube community as other people, but I definitely did notice it, as well as the O'Keefe videos and how it's a similar situation. And I don't think it's that hard to see the similarity. This is going along the lines of what Paul Joseph Watson has been saying, more specifically about conservatism, that it's the new punk rock, so to speak, which I'm not sure if I agree entirely with it. I think that what we're seeing is that conservatism is, he's also said it's a new counterculture. And we're not just talking about conservatism. We're talking actually about critical thinking. So, what's the big takeaway from that? You had this weekend at Vidcon, which I've only been on YouTube since I think October. Haven't really had much time to draw an audience. I don't really care how big of an audience I draw at the moment because I'm not planning on doing this full time. I have a full-time job anyway, even though it would be interesting. But we're seeing these creators that are attracting massive audiences, audiences that sometimes exceed real network TV. I'm not even talking about Dave Rubin and Sargon of Akkad. I'm talking. You could talk about what's that guy's name, Phil DeFranco, and PewDiePie and all those guys. Those people were sneered at by the media for a few years as YouTube celebrities. These guys that are, they're not really serious career people. They're just making their money off of, these widgets and their stupid, quirky. Whatever they do, gaming is one of the major things that the media just sneered at, and then they found somebody in let me draw a line between the gaming and why the media has such disdain for these creators, who a lot of them are connected to gaming, and I'm not a gamer, so I don't really care either way. I don't have any problem with gamers, but I'm not a gamer, so I never really noticed this whole Gamergate controversy until probably last spring or so. And why did the news media take the side of somebody like Arnito Sarkeesian, who basically trashes an entire group of enthusiasts? They call themselves a community. I think the whole community adage is sort of, you don't have to call it a community. I mean, let's say it is, but it's at least a culture. There's just like there's a culture of people who watch MMA. There's a culture of people who watch all these other entertainment modes, but gamers have a unique issue that the mainstream media and this is beyond mainstream media. This is actual telecom giants like Vidcon and Time Warner. Why would they have such a problem with these people? It's very simple. As long as people are playing games and interacting on these online forums like Twitch, they're not watching any of these other networks, or they may have the TV on, but they're not really looking at the ads, and they're not really the gaming is kind of like a much freer market. I don't know if there's a such thing as a totally free market, but it's a much freer market than television and radio and all these other established modes of telecom. So for the mainstream media and these media conglomerates, which are above that, this pisses them off, Comcast and whatever. They're like, well, the more time these people spend with their gaming conventions and playing video games and whatever, the less time they're going to be watching our Downy commercials or our or buying insurance from Geico and watching those stupid gecko ads. They're greedy. They're greedy, just like with the other story that's exploding across the news today, which is the CNN O'Keefe tapes. And before I move to that, Anita Sarkeesian was the perfect person for them to use as a sort of bludgeoning weapon against the gaming community. I guess I'll call them the community. There, I gave in. So Sarkeesian, who is basically making her entire career out of just a campaign of spewing nonsense about people that she's never met, who, she started out calling them sexist, even though she's never met them, even though she doesn't know that in some cases they're women just like her. She goes out and just behaves in such a self-righteous manner that the news networks basically found their own unwitting Al Sharpton. She's a dupe of theirs, and I guess she's a willing dupe, because she's making all of that money and attracting all that attention and awareness and donations for Feminist Frequency, her website. That why would she care if she's just a pawn of these massive media conglomerates? And I'm including the Alphabet organization, which runs Google. They haven't, I don't know why they have an interest. I think they would have a countering interest in getting people to do gaming, because a lot of them, they upload their gaming videos on YouTube. There's so much that YouTube's made off of these free creators. And now that the corporate world is coming at Google and saying, this adpocalypse or whatever, which I've stayed away from because I don't care. I have such a small audience that I'm not going to make ad revenue anyway. So I don't really care, but this is rank extortion. It is extortion in order to get YouTube to come over to the side of somebody who is basically going to say, yeah, we're the corporate world. We're going to be your daddy now. These independent creators that made you what you are until now, how far can they get you? You've gotten as far as you can with them. Well, why don't you join the dark side? And that's what happened with YouTube, since they were bought by Google and now the Alphabet organization. It's a frustrating reality. But just like with cable TV and every other media, it will, I believe, in some way come back to haunt them, because this audience is not going to change their tastes just because they're going to be deprived of ad revenue or whatever. These people have common interests. That's why they call themselves a community: the gaming community, the skeptic community, the SJW community too. If you were to tell them, oh, you can't do this on our platform, well, they would find a different platform. That's the way it is. And it's the same thing with this O'Keefe. They've called him a quack journalist for years. Hack journalist. Quack would be for a doctor, but they've called him names for years, saying that he's editing video, and that he's a sensationalist, and that he's a felon, which was an expunged incident. They've been saying for years that he's not doing real journalism. Well, it turns out that you can say whatever you want about O'Keefe based on the standards of when he started his career in journalism, but the state of the journalistic world today has plummeted compared to any standards that you once held O'Keefe to. You just had Huffington Post publish a fake article by somebody who claimed to be a graduate student from South Africa, who wanted to deny the white males the franchise, take their voting rights away. That's the state of journalism today. They're getting blogs, they're approving blogs of people that are, that they need to co-opt the independent creators. So, I've actually posted a couple blogs on a mainstream outlet, a foreign outlet, the Israel. It's not Israel Today, but it's Times of Israel. Because I wanted to address the audience. So I'm not saying that I'm like against established media outlets. I'm just saying that for them to have judged O'Keefe, who is doing true journalism in its purest form, for them to judge him by any standard, given what's been going on recently, is just, it's horrible, horrible misinformation and deception. It's not even a matter of hypocrisy. It's just plain deception, because if it was hypocrisy, that would imply that they actually believe in something, that, you know, they have some sort of disconnect between their own deeds and their beliefs. I don't think that they have beliefs. What O'Keefe revealed was that their whole MO is being driven by a profit motive, whereas in O'Keefe's case, his whole MO is driven by an agenda, which he plainly makes clear. He wants to change voting laws in order to force states to check voter ID. That's one of the things. He's an anti-abortion activist. He's a standard conservative activist. Okay, he doesn't pretend to be impartial. He doesn't pretend to be you know, the worldwide leader in news. He doesn't make any pretensions to that. All he's saying is, look, I will bring you footage of people saying things when they are in a moment of candid vulnerability. I will gain their trust and confidence, and then I will reveal who they are to the world at large. And is that something that is despicable and deceptive and whatever? Yeah, well, maybe it is for the targeted person, but it's still journalism, and it's journalism of the first degree quality. Is journalism? Let me ask you this. And I didn't make like a graphic video where, you know, I have the screen on the other side like I do a screen capture. But is real journalism what Sally Cohn does when she's on the news, rolling her eyes at the other people on the panel with her? Is real journalism something like what I've seen Reza Aslan do, going to a foreign country and in order to draw out a sensational story about an obscure cult eating human brains? Is that journalism? Is real journalism pretending to go out to the heartland like Van Jones does and talk to Trump voters and pretending to really get into their skulls, but at the same time, you know, rejecting everything that they say as white racism, which I don't know if Van Jones has gone and done that, but the first part for sure, he's gone out and he's pretended that now he's discovering why people voted for Trump. You knew the whole time, okay? This isn't new. This is news that CNN chose to ignore. It's not news that you discovered after the election. You're basically backdating information that you already had prior to the election, okay? That's, and you know, I guess Van Jones, I'm not telling people how to do their jobs and making them, you know, say, oh, yeah, nitpicking every move, you know, well, you should have done this when you should have zigged when you zagged or whatever. No, I can't do that, but I'm making a clear distinction here. What James O'Keefe's doing is full-on, real, hard-nosed journalism, and what his you know, employees are doing, that's real journalism. That's what I used to see it on John Stossel or 60 Minutes. It's not, you don't see it nearly as much anymore as you used to in the 90s and 2000s. That when you would have hidden camera reporting and things like that. Who's that guy? Quinones on ABC. He does the whole staged racism thing. That you had they criticized him for that. Chris Hansen with his To Catch a Predator. That you know, you can make fun of it, you can call it abusive or whatever, but that is real investigative journalism. And what they're going to keep saying is, oh, the tape is edited, the tape is edited, the tape is edited. Well, no shit. Your network employs entire armies of editors to edit down your footage. And that's part of journalism. And then they asked him to release raw video for all of what was going on, for nearly every incident he's been involved in. And he has. He's actually gone a step further than every other organization of legitimate journalism that's been around. So anyway, I'll cut this short, 15 minutes. Enjoy this video. Like, subscribe. talk to me about what your thoughts are about the future of journalism, and stay bold, because there's not a lot of O'Keefes out there, and we could use a little more appreciation for at least what he does, if not necessarily his beliefs. People can believe anything they want, but when you have somebody bringing the truth to you, you have to be bold and accept it.